What's up, sexies? Happy Friday. Yeah, boy, we made it again. By God, we're just going to keep knocking them out. I tell you what. So, we talked about the mind. Got on my soapbox for a quick second. I'm going to get back off that sucker. But, let's talk about that thinking. Odd subject, I'm sure, as most of us consider ourselves thinkers anyway. But, my cognitive coalition sets me apart from a few others. So I think, and for my level, I don't have a lot in common with people. Not that I'm better than anyone. It's just a difference. Like the dating game. We talk about asking the right questions and finding the answers that we truly need are the ones we want to seek. And my first question to anyone who would ever want to try to date me would be Nikolai or Edison. Most people have no idea who Nikolai Tesla is. That's enough of an answer for me to know that you do not possess the depth that I'm looking for. We can't sit up at night and have endless conversations about unicorns and such because you truly don't know what we've gone through to get to where we're at. And that's a sad day. Not that anyone is above learning or below learning. However, we must learn how to think again. This conditioning that I've talked about, conditioning has been given to us since we were children. Instead of growing up learning how to think, we were growing up being taught what to think. And that's become our issue. It leads all of us down this road of unhappiness that we call overthinking. Overthinking. Maybe we're not worthy. Maybe a situation isn't where we wanted it to be. It's not how we want it to be. Or, like I said, our imagination fills the gaps in for us. And we don't truly understand what we're trying to figure out. So our imagination uploads stuff from the subconscious. Stuff from our conditioning as we were taught how to think. Now we think that maybe we're not worthy. We're not ideal in the image of what others think. And that's a sad thing. You know, I talk about fixing our minds and the way we think at times. And to change that, we must learn how to think again instead of remembering what it is we're supposed to be thinking. We don't find answers to our questions through the same repetitive cycles. You know, we take relationships, for instance. Have a bad relationship, someone walks away, or, you know, maybe we're materialistic. And some people laugh, you know, I'm not materialistic. Yet you go out here and look for a sugar mama or a sugar daddy, don't you? At some point, you'll realize when you hit the bottom that the conscious mind is a bottomless void that cannot be filled with materials, that cannot be filled with money. It must be filled with pleasure of the mind, the things that we love and dream. Those are how we fill this void, to feel whole again. Because you find your sugar daddy or your sugar mama and you start getting that stuff you want. 2 years into it, you got everything you want. Now you're expendable to them and they're expendable to you. Did you fill that void? Are you happy? Let's be real. When you find someone who meets your criteria, who you actually use your brain to think for, why don't you start with yourself and do for you? Stop going out here with your good intentions, trying to be good with others. You can naturally be good. We loan people the shirts off our back, only to turn around and see that they've stolen everything out of our closet. So we kick back into overdrive, back into overthinking. And in the words of the Prez, oh no, we have total cranial cabin pressure loss. And now we're stuck When a main system goes offline, all subsystems are affected. So our body kicks back into habit. So we go back into these downward spiral relationships. We go back to these dead-end roads because it's the only thing we know. It's become our habit. We were taught what to think instead of taught how to think. It's a tough road, ladies and gentlemen. It's never easy. If it was easy, we'd all still be naked walking around in paradise, wouldn't we? But to think, to understand what you want, to take time to yourself, you got to learn the pause. The pause in the stress. The pause when you start to doubt yourself. The pause when everything seems to be lost. And you got to break it down to yourself. What have you accomplished to this point? What have you done for yourself? Not what do you got to show for it. What do you know about yourself to get you through this situation? So many of us earn gifts to give to others in this life, but we overthink it. Not that any kind of abuse or any situation to that effect is a gift. That is evil. Yet it is a lesson that learned to some people. But the gift that you learned through it is what you can use to give back to others, to help them. You learn to turn your lessons into your gifts, and you give your gifts away because it gives you back your power to think, and your blessings. If you don't, and you overload yourself, you continue to use the same habits over and over, because when the main system's offline, everything kicks back into habit. It's a natural cycle. Learn how to think for yourself again. It's the only way. It's the only way to upgrade. It's the only way to stop overthinking, because overthinking is the biggest cause of unhappiness. And that leads to cardiac arrhythmia, you know? And at that point, your heart's just beating. The beats no longer have meaning. They skip because there's no real truth to anything. But as we continue, you got to understand that no matter what you put into it, you get back from it. If you ain't going to take the time to think about it, you ain't going to take the time to earn it for yourself, to not overthink it, just the basics. You got to stop questioning yourself and learn to trust yourself again. Because if you don't trust yourself, you continue to overthink, you continue to devalue yourself, devalue your worth, and all that overthinking robs you of everything that you've ever earned, robs you of your confidence, robs you of your value, and leaves you lost in the woods. Love you guys. Stop thinking on what we were taught and learn how to think again for yourself. It's the only way you'll regain your power. It's the only way you'll get back out of this vicious cycle, out of this struggle. When you can realize that those who take from you have nothing for themselves. That's why they do. You can understand why your thinking is important to others, why the way you do things is more important. Y'all stay up, stay beautiful. And as always, I'll see you around.